edition of Squad 915 Business Spotlight. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for pressing play. Today's special guest, we have George Ortega, who is the owner of Angels Kustoms, Automotive, and Performance. How are you doing today, George?
I'm pretty good. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much for asking,
Good,
and
good.
thank you very much for being on the show. Very much appreciated. So let's talk a little bit about your story. Kind of tell how you got into the business. I think there's a lot of people out there that would like to know how you got into the business, as well as with the new cars today. Is it just something that you're able to do? So before we get all to that, we're gonna break down all that stuff. We're gonna break down the services you have to offer. But before we do that, let's talk about yourself. Tell us.
Well, my name is George Ortega. I was born and raised here in El Paso, Texas. I started working on cars since I was about 15 years old, and I ended up moving to Massachusetts. I was up there for about 20 years. I had a shop up there too. Came back about 5 years ago. I started doing mobile mechanic until I opened up my shop, and it's been going pretty good since then.
Okay, fantastic. You said you were raised here in El Paso. A lot of people that are listening to this podcast right now probably want to know like what schools you went to, what high school you graduated from, and all that good stuff.
Well, I graduated from Del Valle High School in '95.
You're very
Prior,
close to me. You graduated just a few years before I did, because I graduated in '99 actually. So pretty close
okay.
there. I was probably a freshman when you were a senior. so
Yeah.
so we're pretty close to the age on stuff with each other. So graduated high school. Kind of what happened from there?
I started working for the post office as a mechanic there, and I ended up quitting because I didn't really like being what to do,
You like be told
and
what to
that's when
do?
I
Okay,
started.
understood.
Yeah, and then from there, I worked at a couple of dealerships and didn't like it. Got my certifications and went from there.
Okay, okay.
Started working on my own.
Okay, fantastic. Around what age do you think that, from the time you graduated to you start working at the different mechanics, the post office, and the certifications and everything, that you actually started? You realized that there was a calling for you to work independently and to be a business owner and an entrepreneur.
I started at the post office, I think at 19, and
Okay.
worked there a few years. And then I also specialized in Corvettes. They used to have a Corvette center here in El Paso, Montana. I
Hmm.
worked there for a while. I got a lot of certifications there. And uh, at 21, I started getting my ASE certifications. And right now, I'm a ASE Master Technician.
So would you say around 21, 22 is when you found your calling to be an entrepreneur and start your own business?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So when you started, obviously you started relatively young. Kind of how was the feedback with the family, with the community when you started your business?
It was good. Did a lot of work for family and friends.
Okay, you kind of got your start there. And back then, how were you doing your advertising? Was it more word of mouth? Do tell.
It was more word of mouth.
Okay.
Everything was expensive back then.
Yeah, of course, because back then the internet was barely coming online. It was
Yeah.
the whole America Online with the phone lines and all that stuff. So really, all you had back then was newspaper, radio, TV, and obviously those are expensive to get into. So you kind of just started doing work for friends and family, and then it kind of spread from there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, fantastic. How long were you in business for before you decided to move to Massachusetts?
Well, I've always been in business. I had a shop there in on Rojas, and I was already living in Massachusetts, and I would come down about maybe once a month, check it out, and I ended up closing it down because it was getting too hectic for me to be coming back and forth and running the shop from over there. So I
Oh,
closed that down.
who was actually, was it some family members, some business partners that was kind of running the shop and up there in
Uh,
Massachusetts, or how did that go?
I was running the one in Massachusetts, and I had a cousin of mine running it here in El Paso.
Okay. Yeah, it must have been a crazy commute for you to travel back and forth between here in Massachusetts, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. So then, did you said you had a shop in Massachusetts? You were working up there, or you just kind of working for somebody else up there?
No, I have my own shop.
Oh, okay, cool. How was it up there? How was the reception when you opened up shop up in Massachusetts?
It was good.
Do you miss
It
it?
was good. The only thing I didn't like was all the cars are all rusted out, so it made it harder for us to work on vehicles up there.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because of the snow and everything up there.
Yeah.
Ah, that makes sense. What would you say between both business locations here in El Paso as well as up in Massachusetts, would you say that was actually the most successful?
I would say, Massachusetts.
So obviously you missed, between the commute back and forth, you decided what, you missed home. You wanted to move back to El Paso. That's kind of what it was. And you kind of took back over the business from there. Is that how it kind of worked?
So I had a daughter. I met, my wife up there, had a daughter, and we really didn't have anybody to take care of her and all that, so I decided to move back here to El Paso where I have family and stuff, so they helped out a little bit.
Okay. So you said that you had your family back here, wife, you just had a new baby. How did it feel to be separated away from your, family and all that stuff when you were up there in Massachusetts? Does that kind of
Yeah,
made you miss home?
at first it does, and then you get used to it. Excuse me, the most I miss was the food.
Ah, for sure. Yeah. Well, you had all that clam chowder and lobster rolls up there.
Oh, yeah.
That didn't make up for the pozole and the menudo and everything down here, huh?
Yeah, I did.
All right. So you decided to close shop, Massachusetts, come back to El Paso. What year was that?
2019?
Oh, quite a while. Obviously, you came back here a little bit when COVID first started happening, and then obviously when you came back is where really started wrapping things up with when it came to COVID. Kind of how did you weather the storm on that?
Well, I really didn't do much when COVID was around until it started dying off.
Okay.
That's when I went full throttle on the shop.
Understood. Gotcha. Okay. And obviously, you've been doing that ever since, which is fantastic. How was the reception when you yourself moved back from Massachusetts back to here? And, was your family happy? Were they surprised that you made the decision? How'd it go?
No, they were happy and surprised because they thought I was gonna stay up there forever.
Do you ever miss being up there in Massachusetts?
I do,
Yeah, I bet.
and
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's very beautiful up there. I did go and visit Salem, Massachusetts, a few years ago, which I have my Salem, Massachusetts T-shirt on right now while we're doing this recording. So it's very beautiful, very pretty up there. We actually almost moved up there ourselves.
Oh, really?
We were living in Phoenix. My ex-wife at the time we had our careers in Phoenix. She ended up getting pregnant, but before she told me that she was pregnant, we went up there to visit Salem, and then we ended up loving it, saying, you know what, we're gonna move. We started making the transition, and then the surprise, we're pregnant. It came out, and so we moved back here. We relocated back to Las Cruces for a couple of years, and then obviously things didn't work out for us. But yeah, we had already made that decision to move to Salem, and then we were just getting ready to do that. We were already looking for jobs. We were researching the rents out there because we wanted to live like right smack in the middle of Salem. Which I think it was like
Yeah,
I think you took the A train from Boston Logan to all the way to Salem. That's how we got from the
yeah.
airport to Salem. So we went up there. It was beautiful. Fell in love with the place. Wanted to move up there, and then obviously that didn't happen. So we moved back here to Las Cruces. So completely understand how you feel. Of course, coming back to the desert must have been a little bit of maybe a little bit of a culture shock or a little bit of a transition for you as well.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, 'cause, like, I like fishing a lot, so up there I lived in Lee, Massachusetts. There's, maybe 5, 10 lakes within 5 minutes from the house.
Yeah.
I mean, so it was pretty cool. Here, if I wanna go fishing to Rio Grande or Escalante,
Yeah. Yeah, or if you wanna
I
take the
mean,
2-hour drive up to, Elephant Butte and whatnot.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure. So, ended up moving back here from Massachusetts, took over the shop. How has business been since then?
it's been pretty good. It has its ups and downs, and I mean, I slowed down, during the holidays and start picking back up around February, but it's going good.
Fantastic.
I
So,
mean, we offer, a lot of discounts. I mean, if you're active military, you get discount. If you're a veteran, you get a discount. I mean, if you own fleet of vehicles, we give you a discount. We give discounts to first responders. So we got a bunch of discounts for people out there.
that's fantastic to hear, especially when it comes to automotive and performance needs because, jobs like those, I think the first thing that we all think to ourselves is this is going to be expensive. And so
Yeah.
knowing that you're providing those types of discounts, especially for veterans like myself, as well as active duty and first responders and stuff, I think that really kind of sets you apart from all the other people. I think a lot of people want to know is what type of services do you provide?
We do everything from oil changes, brakes, tune-ups, engine rebuilds, transmission rebuilds, you name it, we do it. We
Okay.
also do a lot of custom body work and painting too.
Okay. What about the performance side? Like yeah,
We
what kind of
do
stuff what kind of services you do on the performance side?
everything. We do high performance engines, you name it, we're able to do it.
And I'm assuming that just because you have your ASE Master certification, so you're pretty certified and current, I'm assuming, to be able to work on any type of vehicle. Does that include domestics and imports?
Yes, we gotta get recertified every 5 years. So every
Oh,
5 years, I gotta go retest for my ASE
understood.
certifications.
Okay, understood. I think one of the main questions that a lot of our listeners want to know is with all the newer smart cars, the well-connected cars, the technologically advanced vehicles, are you able to work on those? And is there a difference between, the classic old school retro cars and then today's vehicles? How would you be able to tell people that if they have that question and curiosity in their head as to, well, I have this 3-year-old vehicle. I think most people, including myself, are saying maybe we should take it to the dealership. So what would you say to that?
That's your choice, you know what I mean? But we do work on older cars. It's a little harder for like newer techs coming out of school.
Hmm.
I mean, because older cars don't have a computer, so you gotta use vacuum gauges and a bunch of like old school tools to figure out to diagnose it. I mean, I specialize in that kind of stuff, and the newer vehicles are a little much easier to work with. Everything's computerized, so you hook up the computer and it gives you more or less it pinpoints you to the direction to see what's wrong with the vehicle. I
Understood.
mean, because a lot
Yeah,
of times people will take their vehicle to AutoZone and have it. They hook up the computer and it says it's a oxygen sensor, so they change it and it's still doing the same problem. I mean, and it comes out to be a wiring problem or something.
understood. Okay. I think with the newer cars today, I want to say that it does look and feel technologically advanced. But at the end of the day, it still has the same basic components: engines, tires, brakes, exhaust manifolds, mufflers. Is that correct?
Yes, the
Yeah.
only thing it has computers on it now.
Okay. What would you say is the most advanced thing in your experience of working on vehicles from the past to today that you would say has changed significantly? Like, is
The
there
electric cars,
really? Okay, do tell.
them things are expensive and expensive to work on.
How
I
so?
mean, the batteries, the big batteries, they're anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 if they go bad. I mean, you need a lot of special equipment to work on them things, but we still do them.
Okay.
And
Well,
right now, I'm in the process of getting Tesla certified to be able to work on Teslas.
Oh, that's really great to hear because there's a lot of people out here that actually drives Teslas. My neighbor actually has one.
Yeah,
They look kind of cool. Definitely not a fan of the Cybertrucks, though. I'll say,
me
hey,
either.
some people like them. Not judging. It's just it's definitely not for me for sure. But that's actually great to
Yeah,
hear that because like you said, you're keeping up with the times. You're not kind of set in the old ways where you're saying to yourself, I don't want to work on those fancy advanced cars or anything like that. You're kind of going up and you're continuing to stay current with the needs of the vehicles and what people want to buy. Because in today's world, we like comfortability. We like to be
yeah,
connected in the car. We like to have our fancy gizmos in the car. We also like it to be operating efficiently.
yeah.
Back in the day, we grew up back in the day where you had a radio, cassette player, a CD, an air conditioner, maybe, maybe help me out here. Rolling up the windows electronically versus the manual turn. you know,
Oh yeah,
maybe we had that. So it was pretty basic back then. And so with
yeah,
you keeping up with your certifications, your experience, and of course with the the trends and the vehicles and the advancement of them, I think that's actually very intriguing to me because when you pass by a mechanic shop, you don't really know what they can and can't do, which is why you're talking to me today to exactly explain to me and tell everybody, look, I have my own shop. I can do anything and everything there is to do, including Teslas. And so that's really great to hear.
yeah.
So,
We gotta keep up with the
mhm,
technology too.
yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the thing, like myself included, because, we're sitting here doing a podcast, we're sitting here doing something that's it's relatively in its infancy, but I like what I do. I like doing it. Podcasting is still relatively new, and so I try to keep up with the times as well. For my business, and so it's good to know that there are other people that are doing the same thing, especially in the mechanic field and the performance and stuff. Because me personally, I wouldn't even have thought of that either. My first thought was I have this newer car. The stigma is, well, they're making it so advanced these days that you can't take it anywhere else but the dealership. So it's very
Yeah,
revolutionary to hear what you're saying is like, nope, still bring it to me, right?
yeah. Well, that's what the dealers want you to think. You know what I mean? That's the way they make their big bucks.
Yes. Yeah, they charge a pretty penny for that too. And that's really great to hear. Plus, you can get discounts at your shop too.
Yeah.
So,
We also offer a 2-year warranty and or 24,000 mile, whichever comes first, warranty on parts and labor.
wow, that's even better to hear.
And then we also starting a loyalty program, which you earn points for every service you purchase. I mean, so you could use that towards future purchases or cashback.
Oh, that's good to hear. So if somebody comes to your shop, they're interested in getting something repaired on their vehicle, you tell them about the loyalty program. Kind of, I think we're all somewhat educated on the loyalty programs because they're everywhere these days. How would they sign up and kind of how all that would work?
You just gotta let me know. I mean, if you come in, get your car repaired, I'll let you know. We got this loyalty program, and the more you spend with us, the more you get. I mean, and you could use it towards future repairs or get what is it, like a prepaid card for cash back.
Okay, great to hear. You obviously can do anything and everything, including you said that you can't do Teslas right now, or you said you can do them and you're working on getting the certification for that.
I'm able to work on them, but I'm not certified by Tesla. I mean, and in order for Tesla wants you to be certified by them to be able to work on their vehicles. So that's what I'm doing now, and I should be Tesla certified within a couple of months.
That's fantastic to hear. Excited. Don't have a Tesla, can't afford one. But at least it's good to know that for other people, especially our audience that are listening to and watching the podcast, because I'm actually recording myself doing a video podcast right now. So good to know that for anybody who's listening to the podcast right now, to know that George can work on anything and every vehicle including Teslas. And pretty soon, when he's done, he'll have his certification in that and take your Tesla there as well. So,
Yeah.
as we wrap this podcast up, George, what is the future for you? What is the goal for Angels Customs and Performance?
Hopefully opening up a few more shops around town.
Really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
fantastic to
I'm
hear.
thinking of probably opening up but if I open one up, it'll probably be in Las Cruces. I have
That's
a lot of customers that bring their vehicles down from Las Cruces to me, and then they take them back.
all right. Well, that's fantastic to hear. I definitely would look forward to hearing about your progress and telling us, if when that happens, we'll definitely get you back on the podcast to talk about your grand opening in Las Cruces. So just make sure you just keep me updated as well. As we wrap down this podcast, was there anything else you wanted to add to
Yeah, I wanted to add. I know vehicle repairs are expensive. We have like budget stuff too. You know what I mean? So if you're running low on money, we could work with you, get you back on the road. So we work with people that don't really have money too.
Well, that's really great to hear as well, because there's a lot of people out there that are struggling. Me personally, I have struggled a lot,
Yeah,
especially going through my divorce. I was broke, no money. Thankfully, I didn't have any automotive issues, but that's just one extra thing that families have to think about when it comes to trying to provide for themselves, for their families, trying to get that food on the table, trying to get those bills paid,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden the car breaks down.
yeah,
And so when you're saying that you can work with them on any budget, and if they're having financial issues, you working with that too is really great to hear. And I think a lot of people would appreciate that and appreciate you for doing that and helping them, especially in their time of need. So that's wonderful to hear.
yeah. So
Cool.
and that's about it.
All right. Well, that's great to hear. I'm going to put all of your information, your contact information, in the description of this podcast. Did you want to go ahead and tell everybody?
If you have any problems with your vehicle, stop by or give me a call. Our address is 5621 East Paisano Drive, El Paso, Texas 79925. Phone number is 915-321-9669. My shop is a little bit hidden. It's in the back of the building that is in front. So just make sure you go through that little driveway in the back and you'll hit the shop.
Okay, fantastic. Actually, I have one more question for you before we wrap this podcast up. Let's say if somebody has an automotive issue and their car breaks down in, like, let's say their driveway or whatever, do you have connections with tow truck companies that if they were to call your shop that and tell them the situation, would you be able to help them out with that too? Do
Yes.
you? Okay. Well, I can tell you this.
Yeah, and if it's not a big repair, I could probably go down there and repair it in the driveway too.
Okay, so you have some mobility capabilities. What's the limitation on that?
Just around the Paso area.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is like battery changes, flat tires. Are we talking simple things like that, or what is the limitation on
Yeah,
what you can do at somebody's house without your tools or
yeah,
whatnot?
simple stuff. You know what I mean? Batteries. If you got a flat out, could go exchange it. I might be able to do alternator starters, and depending on the situation.
Okay, gotcha. And then I'm assuming that when you get there and you kind of assess what the issue is, you guys talk price then, or or do you have some
Yeah.
standard pricing on that?
I normally charge $80 just to go out there, but like I said, I work with people. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay. Cool.
And so
All
if
right.
they're running low, maybe I'll. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. No. No. For
charge them.
sure. For sure.
Yeah.
What is your hours? Your shop hours?
Uh, Shop hours is Monday through Friday, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturdays is by appointment only.
Okay. Close Sundays.
Yes.
Okay. What about if somebody can somebody call you and reach you after hours, let's say, early in the morning before your shop opens or late at night? Are you still available for that too or no?
Yes.
Okay. So they just call the phone number 915-321-9669 and they're able to reach you at any time?
Yeah.
Okay, good to hear. I can tell you this, I'm gonna put your phone number in my phone because I'm always looking for a mechanic, in this area. I did have one, mechanic that I was close with, but he's over there on the west side off of Donovan. Great guy, like him a lot. Didn't know quite what his capabilities were, but since you and I had this
Yeah.
conversation, definitely gonna put your contact information in my phone, so if we ever have an issue with our vehicles, we know who to call for sure.
Yeah. Sounds good.
All right, man. Well, George, I want to thank you very much for being on this podcast. Greatly appreciated. Very informative for sure. Because, like I said, I thought that, only the advanced vehicles go to the advanced repair shops like the dealerships. It's really fantastic to hear that you can fix it all and do it all. So that's great.
And thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Very much appreciated, and thank you for being a guest on the on this show. And thank you very much for listening to Squad 915 Business Spotlight. Be sure to check out our socials; they're in the description. Highly encourage you to follow us, like us, stay up to date on the latest episode when they come out. Thank you very much. Talk to you next time.